Uh, what you took? Okay, so.
Okay, so I claim that the Nazis were the only ones who was responsible for the Holocaust, was held in responsible for the Holocaust, because the Allies, they didn't help, and the Nazis were the only ones who executed the Jews and yeah, the mentally retarded people.
Well, okay, so I understand your point that you're trying to say that the Nazis were the one who, like, carried out most part of the killing, but then you're forgetting the point that the people who were under Nazi rule, they were the ones who put the Nazi Party into power. And you can't say that the Nazi Party is solely responsible for the Holocaust just because they were the ones who executed the Jews. And if you also are forgetting the point that the people were the ones who supported this idea of execution, and that if there weren't these people who supported this idea, then the Nazi Party wouldn't have existed. And my first argument for the concept is that the average Germans, like the everyday citizens, those people were the ones who actually put the Nazi Party into power. So it's without these people, without these citizens voting for the party wouldn't have existed, and the Holocaust wouldn't have taken place. And also, more importantly, these people knew that the Nazi Party was solely based on anti-Semitism, and these people knew that the Nazi Party and Hitler planned to kill Jews because they were they were extreme racist. So you really have to understand that the Nazi Party grabbed power because of the people voted and supported for this Nazi Party.
So you're saying that the citizens supported the Nazis, but do you know why they supported them?
They supported them because they like almost all European nations, especially Germany, was really they really believe in racism because they hated Jews for just no reason, just because they wanted to discriminate them because Jews were different.
But then the government said they pressured the citizens so much that it became the common sense. Hating Jews became the common sense among the citizens. So, like the Nazi government set a negative stereotype of Jews to the citizen people, so that they would think like that and act like that.
So you're trying to say that Hitler was giving pressure to these citizens, right?
Yeah.
But then I don't believe that these people acted as they did because they were pressured. Because as I said before, these anti-Semitic views towards Jews were already existing from the beginning before they got pressured.
But then if they had the German citizens, the normal citizens, even though they have the hatred towards Jews, they can't do anything. They can't do anything about them. The Nazi, the Hitler, the leader of the Nazi Party, he actually allowed people to kill Jews, right? So
there are a lot of sources out there, reliable sources, saying that people were given the chance to refuse if they did not want to kill Jews. And also, these people, even after being given the chance to refuse to kill Jews, they still had this natural hatred towards Jews, which is why they carried out the killing. We have to move on to the. I don't think we have to. Yeah, and my second argument is that I believe that the German citizens were also partly responsible for the Holocaust because of their immoral actions. And what I mean by these immoral actions is that you know that it's a moral duty for all human beings to even like attempt to stop an injustice, like stop an act of injustice. But then you see that these German citizens, they knew what was happening. They knew that the Jews were getting executed for just because of this means of discrimination for like basically no reason. And but then you really have to understand that if the German citizens had helped them, then you could have saved millions of lives of Jews, and the Holocaust wouldn't have been successful. And also, you understand that the government cannot exist without the people, because the mere reason for the government existing is for the people's good. It's for their benefit. So if people don't want something, then the government can't exist. So example, let's say that people like revolt and say that they don't want to kill Jews because they disagree. Then German citizens are helping Jews and they're preventing Jews from getting killed. So the Holocaust wouldn't have been as like important and as successful.
So you're saying that the German citizens are responsible because even though they knew what was going on in the Holocaust, they didn't solve it.
Yeah.
But then under the Nazi government, like if you were one of the German citizens and you hated and you were against like executing Jews, then would you be able to stand up for the Nazi government who's really strict and
Well, I really agree that the Nazi Party and Hitler's rule was a pretty strict and authoritative government, but you really have to understand that there are a lot of sources out there giving proof that these German citizens, they weren't given the pressure. They were given the chance to refuse to kill Jews if they didn't want to, because the Nazi leader, Hitler's main purpose of you're aware of the final solution, right? His main goal was to kill the Jews, not the German citizens. So you have to understand that these German citizens were given the chance to refuse. And the reason why the Holocaust was successful is because these German citizens, they didn't care about trying to save the Jews. They just care about their opinions about anti-Semitism.
So you're saying that the German citizens were not forced to hate Jews, right?
Well, I'm not saying that they were not forced to hate Jews because Hitler was a leader that wanted things to go in his way, but I'm just saying that they weren't like threatened.
Okay, but then the Nazi Party, they influenced
So don't you think
so much
don't you think it's like kind of wrong to just stay and not question? Wait, why are they blaming it on Jews? Just think about it. The Jews are just there living on the countryside of Germany, and they didn't do anything. And the Nazi government is just blaming on them.
Nazi Party had changed their minds to hate Jews like them and act like them and control the Jews. That was
The way you say influence, I agree with influence because the Nazi Party was very strong and Hitler knew what he wanted to do because he had a specific goal. But I disagree that the Nazi Party was strong enough to force people to change into the Nazi Party because
Yeah, they didn't know what was coming. But after the consequence,
well, it was strong enough to influence people and make people spread ideas, but it wasn't strong. It wasn't forceful enough to the point where it made people, it threatened people to kill Jews.
They didn't know before, and then, like you just said, they didn't know
So
before.
my next argument is that
The people didn't
if
know
it wasn't
what
Hitler,
Hitler's real intentions were. So they were just feeding them
Hitler
lies.
was the one
And after when he
that
started
set a goal to the execution of Jews.
proving that he's a bad
So if it was the Holocaust
yeah, why
would have
did
been
they stop
successful.
them?
Well, I agree because Hitler really had a specific goal. His final solution, he explained specifically that he really wanted to kill Jews because he was anti-Semitic. However, I do not believe that Hitler was the only leader who organized all his plan and carried out the killing.
Hitler's not the only one. Hitler's fellows, the Nazi Party.
Yeah, exactly. So the Nazi Party and Hitler, I don't believe that they were the only ones because it's kind of tied to my next two arguments. So I'll kind of connect to them. But then I really strongly disagree that Hitler and the Nazi Party were the only ones because, as you can tell in my my third argument, I'll go into my third argument because it's connected. So my third argument is about how other countries also had partial responsibility. And so I'm trying to say that it wasn't only Hitler, it wasn't only the Nazi Party. And the reason for that is that other countries, I mean like US, Britain, and France, the Allies, those three countries were the countries that, before the Holocaust, they denied entry of Jews because they were highly anti-Semitic toward Jews and they were extreme racists. They really cared about discrimination. But you're aware of the day Kristallnacht, right? It's called the Night of the Broken Glass. After this day, Jews wanted to escape, but they couldn't because countries like US, Britain, and France, they denied entry of Jews. But you might ask me the question, why was it the other countries' business to care about these Jews? But you have to think about if the other countries had let Jews come into their own countries, you could have saved millions of lives of Jews, and the Holocaust wouldn't have been successful. And also another point is that because the other countries denied entry of Jews, this was the reason why Hitler was more motivated to his final solution. Because Hitler wanted to get rid of Jews in Germany, in his country, but then when he realized that other countries were denying entry and that there was no other way to get rid of Jews, he was really motivated to stick to his final solution, and he realized that the only way he can get rid of Jews is to kill them with his own hands. So the way the other countries denied entry of Jews was a motivation for Hitler to work on his final solution, which is why the Holocaust was so devastating.
And then we're talking about Holocaust, which happened in Germany by Hitler. So the other countries denied the Jews to come into their countries. But why is that irresponsible?
Yeah, so I said before that you might ask me the question, why is it the other country's responsibility, right? Well, I'm not going to say that it is the other country's responsibility or it's their fault that the Holocaust happened, but what I want to say is that if the other countries had allowed, if they did not possess the anti-Semitic views about Jews, and if they weren't extreme racist, then they could have saved millions of Jews' lives.
What do you want them to do?
So you're saying that the extreme discrimination was right?
Why are the Jews blamed? How are they blamed? And how are they going to be punished?
Like France, the other countries, in the matter of Holocaust, I think they're neutral because they just did what they wanted to do, like not allowing Jews, and those Jews were in Germany, and Hitler killed them, the Holocaust. So I don't think the other countries are irresponsible for.
So I think you're trying to say that it wasn't the other country's business to care about the Holocaust, right?
Yeah.
But as I kept mentioning before, other countries still possessed the natural hatred towards Jews, and these European nations, they were born to be possessed with hatred towards Jews because they were just racist, because they didn't like Jews, right? And then this is the point that I want to point out that it's wrong. Because other countries
hating Jews are wrong.
Yeah, because they were extreme
That they were
racist.
born with it, they can help it.
What do you mean? They were born with it from the beginning, so they believed that they hated Jews.
Because of the cultural.
I mean,
So they were.
well, it's not mainly cultural, but they just had that feeling, hatred towards Jews for no reason.
Should have
They just hated Jews because they were different, which is not even a reason. And I also,
what about their specific
yeah.
plans of how to do stuff, what they're going to do in the camps?
Before they knew what was
The Nazis were the only ones who were responsible.
right around the time of the election. And in the election, that's when he started feeding people lies, and so people didn't really know.
They are so strict and authoritative that they, like you said, they influenced, and
that's when it started.
they just caused everything about
Yeah,
Holocaust.
so when Hitler got his power,
I don't really
after
understand the difference between that argument and the previous one, because we were talking about how Nazis were so strict in all of their arguments. So can you point out the difference between the three arguments?
I'm saying that
So you're trying to say that the Nazis were the only one who carried out the killing, right?
because
Basically, as I was saying,
normal German citizens, they also killed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they also
Wait,
killed.
yeah.
Yeah, they killed because the Nazi influenced them, and
as I
Nazi
was
were
saying,
the
the people that were
Well, I get your point. You're trying to say that they were the ones who influenced ordinary German citizens to carry out the killing, right? Well, as I said before, there are a complete range of sources saying that these these German citizens were given the chance to refuse killing, because as I said before, Hitler's goal wasn't to kill the German citizens, but to kill the Jews. And also, I really want to emphasize that these German citizens were not. They didn't kill Jews because of Hitler's influence. They killed because they really wanted to.
So like that's why